Alrighty, we are sitting here with who called yesterday and spoke to one of our secretaries, and she forwarded me information that you had some information that you wanted to share with us. I gave you a call, invited you down, and that's kind of how we ended up here. In the room is Investigator Jim Post. I'm and Jim Rick. And let me start. Today is the 20th of March, and it is 8:41 in the morning. And I guess you have something you want to tell us about George Zimmerman that he did to you? That's what I understood from yesterday? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get you to start at the beginning of what happened.
It started when I was 6. He's about almost 2 years older than I am, and my parents were moving from Louisiana to Orlando, and they sent us, me and my sister, up to while they were moving. That's my earliest memory of him just trying to do things. And
where were you at this time when you're remembering 6 years old?
We would watch movies in front of the TV, and we would all lay in front of the TV, and we would have pillows and blankets.
This was in...
Yes.
Okay.
And he would reach under the blankets and try to do things, and I would try to push him off, but he was bigger and stronger and older, and it was in front of everybody. And I don't know how I didn't say anything, but I just didn't know any better. And
was this under a blanket, though, that he was doing it?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they didn't know what was happening, the other people?
No.
Okay.
Another time...
What city was this in? How to spell that? That's correct. Spell it again? Was he living there at that time, too?
Yes. He was living there. We were just visiting while my parents were moving.
Okay. Whose house was this actually where you were at when this was happening?
His parents.
Parents' house, okay. And can you be a little specific? We've both been at this a very long time, so you're not going to say anything that's going to shock us or offend us. It may be a little awkward for you, but I need you to try to be specific as to, what he did.
He would put his hands in under my pants, under my underwear, and there were other times that he did things too, but he would always call them. Before we left the room or left any place, he would say, we weren't doing anything, we were just laying down, or we were just playing hide and seek. He would always make sure that he told me that, and I didn't know. I was a kid, I didn't know any better, and at one time I told my sister, and I thought I was telling them, because they asked, what were you guys doing? And I said, I didn't know, and I said, we were laying down. And I thought that I was telling them, and they just ignored it. And I just went to sleep crying because I didn't know better. These are just the times that I remember.
Sure. And as you're remembering, if we can put it kind of in a time sequence, I mean, we've got the first one. It started at age 6 under the blanket. Do you remember what the next incident?
Oh gosh, behind the curtains in my living room.
How old were you then, as you remember?
I just remember she must have been at least 5 or 6. She was older, so I was at least 7 or 8.
Okay.
How long were you in before you moved?
This is just different times that we visited.
Okay, so this is over several
Every
occasions.
time that we would go up there, I could just look at him, and he would give me a certain look, and I would know if it was going to happen. Because he just got this look in his eye like he was going to.
So did you go up to visit often? How many times a year would you say?
At least once a year. We would take trips together. There were times where, I mean, it's not just me that he did these things to, but I know that I said that she would never come forward. She
Okay.
said she would deny it either way.
Have you discussed it with her? I mean,
A few years back, and she told us flat out, I'm not saying it. I'll deny it. If anybody ever brings it up, I'm telling them I didn't. It never happened.
Okay.